You know what upsets me more than anything?
A bad coffee?
Yeah, but like when I have to, like, you know when you go and you pay $5 and it's like,
So bad you have to throw it out.
yeah, you're like, hey, there should be a law around that.
Jeez, you're a Melburnian.
You ever have someone that you know and you know they are doing the wrong thing and you know that they know that what they're doing is not right and you can tell them and they'll say, I know, but they'll do it anyway.
They need to be burnt a couple of times and not get paid for something, and that's when they feel it.
I feel like I could have moved a lot faster had I known the things that I know now. A big turning point for me was I felt like I always needed to be.
You're going to need to do that across the career of your business. When I first started, I didn't know the difference between gross and net profit. I had to Google it.
People need to understand that ignorance is not stupidity.
Yeah.
Like if you haven't been shown something,
Yeah, like how are you to know?
you know what upsets me more than anything?
A bad coffee?
Yeah, but like when I have to, like, you know when you go and you pay $5 and it's like,
So bad you have to throw it out.
yeah, you're like, hey, there should be a law around that.
Jeez, you're a Melburnian.
No. Listen, it should be a law. Like, hey, you want to charge whatever you want for coffee? That's great. You know, because the reality is when you go buy a machine, a coffee doesn't cost you anywhere near $5. It costs you like 60 cents or $1 if you buy a pod. But you go pay $5, $6. I just bought 3 coffees. It was $16. Okay. You go buy coffees like this. There should be a law where if this is not like, if this is
You got to be able to return
horrible,
the product.
you should
Same
be able
as
to
if
return
it's
the product
faulty.
and turn around and say, hey, this is fucked. Give me my money back.
Yeah.
Or make me a new coffee.
I once I can only ever recall where the coffee was that bad that I didn't go back, but I almost did. And it was so bad, it was undrinkable. Like I reckon they actually, I actually reckon they made a mistake. Like they did something wrong. They
burnt the coffee or they haven't put enough, like it's being drawn wrong.
Something so bad, I actually spat it out. It was that bad. But I was already in the car and they couldn't be fucked going back. And I was like, job. But I threw it out and I never went back ever again.
Why would you?
I didn't.
It's the,
They even changed the business and I still haven't gone back to that business. It's got that bad of a stigma.
Different names, different move location.
It's a florist.
I'm not buying flowers. Why? Because this used to be a coffee shop and I got a bad coffee. I wouldn't go back there.
We wouldn't go back. Plus, that was in Port Melbourne and we're not from Port Melbourne anymore. We don't hang around those circles anymore.
How long have it been since you moved houses?
Oh, a long time.
How long?
8 years?
Fuck.
From Port.
Were you living in Port?
Oh, from like my family home, like when I was back as a kid.
No. I don't know. Have you where are you living now?
No, I'm in Melbourne Park now.
Yeah, but like how long has it been since you've?
So since I moved from the area, the hood, like my original area, Burwood East.
You grew up in Burwood East?
Burwood East, east side. Burwood East, and last time I was out, it would have been 13 years ago. As on the 9th of March, it'll be 13 years since I moved out of Burwood East.
Have you lived in the same place the whole time?
In my house that I'm in now, no. I was in. So when I first moved out, we moved into Port Melbourne with my wife. So I actually went from home and lived with my wife. That was the first time I'd actually ever moved out.
Yeah, great experience, isn't it?
Yeah, it was good. I think if I was to do it differently, I reckon I would move out. I wouldn't have an issue with my kids moving out before they get married. Yeah.
Would you? Obviously, there are very few parents who would kick their kids out.
I don't know.
Would you kind of encourage it
to go and live on their own for a bit? Yeah, I think so. I think it'd be a good experience for them.
I think
like the door's always open. They can always come back whenever they want.
Not like if you're broke.
That's right. That's right. But also, if it's if you can stay at home, if you're really grinding and trying to make something of yourself, if you're starting a business, whatever it is, like stay home. Like use your money wisely where you can. But yeah, it's definitely going to build character. It's definitely going to build, you getting used to paying bills and doing all that sort of stuff and make you a responsible human being. So I think it's a good thing, a good aspect. But whatever kick and leg up I can give them, I will, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just saying because I had never moved out with anyone before, let alone my wife. So there was, and same with her. So there was definitely a learning experience during that, first few years of living together, or even the first few months, I oh, you leave the toilet seat up. Oh, what the fuck? Well, does it go down? I thought it stays up the whole time. Like, just whatever it might be. I know that's a stereotypical one, but so there's definitely things.
There's two aspects. There is the whole what you don't know how to do yet. Yeah. Like, because you haven't been out on your own. And then there is there's a whole other human here as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Can't just do whatever you want.
So there's both sides to it, right? And I think living with someone's great because you get to learn about other, like you get to see how someone, like have you ever noticed someone brushes their teeth completely differently? And you don't know that because you've grown up in the same family and then you're like, what? You brush your teeth like that?
Yeah.
What's your problem? Do you know what I mean? Or anything of that sort of nature, right?
Yeah.
Like the first thing they do in the morning or how they leave the shower after they're finished or whatever it might be. But yeah, I reckon it's a great learning experience, you know? And I remember when I first moved out, I was 23.
Quite young.
Yeah. 23 or something like that. And there were things where like, you don't realize that your parents do for you or your mum does for you. Like, you know, you leave your socks on the floor, they end up in the laundry. You just don't make the connection.
Yeah.
And then like, you'll do the same thing, like out of habit. And then like a week later, it's still there. And you're like, what the fuck's going on here?
What's going on with that?
Yeah. Why is this glass of water still on why is this glass of water still on my bedside table? It's from last Tuesday. And then you realize like, oh shit, like I didn't move this. Someone moved it.
You didn't use plastic cups back then? Or paper cups?
I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Wasn't as well.
Weren't entrepreneurial back then.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I was still doing things the wrong way.
Still doing things the same way that everyone else does.
Yeah. You know what? Now that I think about it, I don't think I ever had any disposable cutlery at all when growing up.
Oh, me neither. I mean, we would if we ever had parties, you know, like gatherings, birthdays, Easters, Christmas, that sort of shit. You'd have them every now and then. But yeah, same.
Anyway, back to the thing about Port. So since leaving Port, and that's why I asked you, how long has it been since you left?
Oh, since I've left Port, it's been about 8 years.
Because you lived in Port. But here's similar.
To me, it's the same thing. I fucking grew up in the burbs.
Yeah, but,
like, so I think this whole coastal line is the same area. You know what I mean?
No, but you know what? I've actually, Albert Park has better food.
Yeah, it's a nice restaurant.
Hands down, dude. There's nothing in Port Melbourne. There's no, what do they got? Skewered? Skewered's good. Yeah. But like, that's it. Do you know what I mean? Hunky dory. It's okay. Here, dude, I had a pizza from the pizza shop the other day.
Which one?
2 doors down. There's a pizza shop 2 doors down. Did you know this?
2 door. Oh, yeah. That used to be Doc.
Did it?
Yeah, it used to be Doc, and then they changed it.
Great pizza.
Yeah, there's actually a couple more further down. We should do pizza reviews on them. Actually, there's a pizza review. I want to go with you. Let's do a pizza review.
Today? All right.
Okay, done. Back in Burwood East, let's talk about the old hood.
Yeah.
There's this place that, me and my family friend, he lived around the corner from me. We used to go there all the time and get pizza. It was sick pizza. So be curious to see if it's still sick.
Oh, dude.
And they're definitely still around because they turned it into a really nice like pizza restaurant. Like they did a full reno and it was sick.
Yeah.
So I want to go drive down there. So back in Burwood though, we're going to have to go for a drive.
Yeah, we'll go. You need to today. Do you want to do that, say?
We'll see how time goes, but definitely
at some
few weeks.
All right. I did that. I went to like my old local.
Yeah.
And went back and your palate changes. It's like the pizza might be very similar. Or you might eat it and be like, there's particular things about the flavor that take you straight back, but you don't, because you're in a different place. It's kind of like a different pizza to you now.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I remember it being oily. I don't remember it being this oily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because all of a sudden you're not eating as much oil or whatever it might be. But it's a good experience.
There was this place, again, talking on pizza, that used to be called Big Daddy's Pizza. And it was $5 pizzas.
$5?
$5 for a large.
That's cheap, man.
Dude.
How long ago was this? You are very old.
I'm very old.
Yeah.
I think there's like 4-color TV.
19.
I would have been
90s or 2000s?
I would have been 18. No,
I reckon
it'd been 18. Yeah. Yeah, it would have been about 18. I think I just had my, like 18 to 20, somewhere there. And me and my cousin used to go and just get a $5, like you'd get a large pizza, we'd smash a large pizza, like you get the lot. It was just, honestly, it's the best pizza I ever remember having. Because it was $5, but also it tasted great.
Big Daddy's?
Big Daddy's
still existent?
Nah, they're
gone?
Yeah, because right next door, Domino's opened next door. literally next door. I'm like, they're crushing the local business. And they just packed up and left and were never seen ever again.
Damn,
Shout out to the owner if you're listening.
Big Daddy.
Best pizza I've ever had. Me and my cousin used to do that. We used to actually drive around to different pizza places and just try them out and have a pizza there. It was good.
Yeah. I used to do it for burgers.
Oh, yeah. I remember you saying
So I
that.
used to go to every single burger joint I could go to. I've had some good burgers.
Man, I enjoy a good burger.
Mm.
Have you gone to Andrew's?
Never been, dude. I've
Haven't you?
known all about it. I've
We're
known about
good
it for
friends
years.
with the owners, but we'll
Yeah.
go down. We'll go
Today
down.
as well.
Mate, what a day.
What are they? Pizza
What a
burgers
day.
podcast.
Let's do it today. Let's just go down for burger today
Yeah.
for lunch. Excellent.
Now,
Now.
back to, so you talked about the hood.
Yeah.
We had someone send us a DM on the channel on Instagram, I think it was,
Yep.
asking about if we could talk about a little bit more about where we started prior to how we got to where we are now.
So where we started or not what to do once we've started?
That's a great question. Let me check the DMs.
Yes. I mean, because like, it goes back to what we said with moving out. You know, I had experience is a great thing, isn't it? You know, hindsight and then being able to look back and go, oh, we'll do this differently or we'll do this differently. So it's great to have lived through that. And I think we can provide some pretty decent insight into this space. But, you know, same with what I was saying before about moving out. I would have liked to have done it before. I would have liked to, even with my wife, like maybe moved out before, even traveled a bit more before we got married or before we had kids. That would have been good too, because we kind of missed out on that aspect of it, doing it without the kids. We still do a lot of traveling now, but it's just a different holiday.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
very,
Different with
I'd imagine it's a very different.
Yeah.
Holiday.
So yeah, exciting.
Where did I
But,
send it to you? I don't even know where I sent it to you.
oh, I don't even know. But I mean, we can pick one.
One sec. I'd
You know, we need some intermission music.
well, like,
Oh,
please hold.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Here. Okay. Good stuff. Do you guys have an episode on your early stages? That was
So that's it. So I interpret.
shout out to Will Bray
Will,
for the message.
thanks for listening. Hope you subscribed. I'm going to check later. And if you're not, we're not going to air this episode. I interpret that as early stages of the business, not early stages of like my career leading into the business.
Yeah.
How do you interpret that?
I haven't really thought about it,
Okay.
to be honest.
I reckon we can talk about the early days of business.
Yeah.
So first of all, day one. Do you remember day one?
Me?
Yeah.
Of course.
Day one, it's like, when I say day one, it's the first month.
First.
So how pumped.
Oh, you're very excited.
Let me,
What was your biggest problem at that time?
I call myself director or CEO.
You're
You're like,
like, do anything, a name badge? No, there's no one here.
you get a plaque on my
You know
desk.
what I mean? I clocked on, got a clocking machine. No, but honestly, so I'll tell you what I had the biggest problem with going out on my own. So prior to doing what we're doing now, I had done some work prior, but it was never full time, right? The only thing I'd done where I was like full time and had freedom, because there is a level of freedom that comes with business.
Yeah.
In the sense of there's also a level of responsibility that can take away your freedom too.
Yeah, of course.
Having full control of your time, I didn't know what to do with my time.
Mm.
Because I'd worked in real estate before, and real estate has a level of, like, once you're established, they kind of like come in when you want, go when you want. Like, you know, you can not be in the office, they don't know where you are, you're on the road, you're doing stuff, you're in meetings, they don't know where you are, right? So there's that level of having your ideal week and controlling your days and blah, blah, blah. So when I first started the business, I like work off a list. I still work off a list till now. But I remember not knowing what to do with my time, like, and feeling like I'm not getting enough done because I was like, oh, do I do this? And I do that. And I got to do this. And it's like, and I would jump in between tasks, and I had zero structure and zero understanding of how to get the most out of my time. Like, I was so all over. I remember turning to my coach at the time and saying, hey, like, I've never had full control of my time like this. Like, I need some structure here. Like, I need some help. You know, I need some.
So did you have a coach early on?
Me?
in your business?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I did.
That's great. It's very rare for someone to have a coach day one on business.
I also had a coach in real estate.
Yeah. And again, also really rare as an employee.
Yeah, I was an employee. Yeah. And I was forking out my own savings to get a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember I was
Doing things differently. Yeah, I remember. I know. I was
24 years old. And I was like, this is go time, man. Like, I need now. You know what the most bizarre thing is? In a few months, I'll be able to say that was 10 years ago.
You're old.
That's bizarre.
Getting old.
But I remember thinking, this is go time. And what you do in real estate's a fairly high ticket. You know, you can make anywhere between sort of average commission might be like $10,000 or $15,000.
Is this a year?
Commission.
Yeah, but on a single property?
Yeah.
What could someone make in real estate, like from an annual salary point of view?
You could make.
How long's a piece of string?
Yeah, you could. There's real estate agents making over $1 million. Yeah, 100%. People
As an employee.
as an employee.
Yeah.
Yeah. People doing, but that is like 0.01%. And that is like the guy who's running an operation that's been in the same area with the same brand, built a massive personal brand. Everyone knows him.
Yeah.
Has a team of 5 people, pays salaries. And he might be bringing in $4 million of business into the company.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And he's like not many of those. I used to follow them, see what they do, watch interviews. But yeah, I remember thinking, this is go time, man. I had to, dude, like my first coach, it was $1,200 a session.
Yeah, right.
$1,200. Yeah.
As an employee,
As an employee, I pay $1,200 a month. And I was like, you know what? Let's look at this across the year. It's 15 grand. If this guy gets me 2 listings, he's paid for himself. He's paid for himself and put money back in my pocket. Do you know what I mean? That's all he has to do. So I was like, okay, like if not now, then when? My whole thing in life has always been like, you're drowning slowly, let's drown fast. Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck it. Drowning slow is the worst way to drown.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're better off passing out quick and hopefully someone saves you or you die.
Single swim.
Move fast.
That's it.
Yeah, so that was the first time I hired a coach. And I remember going back to my coach when I started this business and said, hey, I'm all over the shop, dude. Like, I'm jumping from this to that to this to that. And then the end of the day comes and I feel like I haven't done anything, but I've like moved the needle slightly on a bunch of things, but nothing's been completed. And I think that's something I noticed with my team now too. And now I sit down with them and I create structures. I say, hey, Monday morning, we do this. Monday, you know what I mean? This is our goal for Mondays. This is Tuesdays. We leave gap time because shit comes up. We know this. Wednesdays is what we do on Wednesdays. I know I'll live my life like that. Yeah, that was my biggest problem when I first started.
Yep. Mine would have been, well, I realized this throughout the process. I didn't have a process to qualify clients. And I was just pricing anything and everything that came through the door. Like if you have a pulse,
that's normal. When
I think it is when you first start as well. And I said this the other day because I had a mentee who's just starting his business as well. And I'm like, the ideal client is anyone that has a pulse at the moment. You just got to get revenue through the door. You got to get
you got to get money. We'll take any.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. It's like, oh, I want to specialize in this. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, you still do the other jobs. And when you get the job that you want to be doing, showcase that. But do the other projects until that time.
Yeah, I tell people
it's the same thing. Yeah. I said to him, I said, don't be discouraged. Like you've got to grind. Yeah, you're starting. There's no shame in you going and doing. Like he's like, I want to do new builds. Like, do a deck.
Yeah,
go build a $50,000 deck. Like, could you do that? Yeah, absolutely. I'll fucking do that. You'll make a quick 20 grand in 3 weeks.
Dude, I always tell people that as well. Like they want to. They have nothing to showcase, no social proof, no proof of concept, nothing to like, no testimonials.
Yeah.
And you're like, so you want to start on new builds? Like that's very difficult.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because you don't have proof that you can do a new build.
That's right. So that's what he was telling me. He's like, oh, should I run ads? I said, you're probably
very hard.
Like, yeah, you need to build brand first. Yeah. You got to build some brand and get that on the trot before you start looking at that. That's when I really started when I started a business is when I started looking at brand. That was one of my first things that I was looking at, like not over the top at the beginning because I still didn't completely understand it back then when I first started the business. But as it kept going on and people started to engage and do that, I saw the importance of it. But, for me, the first thing that I noticed was, look, I was busy. I always worked big hours. Like, for me to come in and start working, 6 to 6 or whatever it was, no issues. I didn't have any kids at the time and I was able to invest that amount of time, effort, resources into the job. I had secured a project, but the next thing for me was to secure the next project and the next one after that and the next one after that. So that was probably my biggest stress, is in making more money in my business than what I would going out and being employed by someone. Because I could have, at that stage of my career, probably could have gone out and got a job close to 200K a year. High hundreds, maybe low twos, depending which company I was working with. So I could have been on a pretty good wicket had I not been in business myself.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the golden handcuffs. I've spoken that before. I kind of had that there, and then it was for me, okay, now I'm going to step out and do this myself. But yeah, initially, when you're first starting out, I think you've got to swallow your pride a little bit. All right. Don't believe the hype of, I'm director, I'm a hotshot. You need to get your hands dirty like a motherfucker. You got to do everything. Not many people will inherit a business where it's got 10 mil turnover day one. All right. Most people, realistically, no matter what it is, you're going to start off with 1, 2, 3 clients. Okay. And depending how long that contract or that period is going to go for, depends on the business, but you're generally going to start off pretty slow, whether you're a cafe owner, whether you're a builder, whether you're in marketing, whatever it is.
What would you do different, knowing what you know now? What would you, like, if you could go and say, hey, I'm going to, tweak, like I can go and pull some levers from when I first started. What are you going to change or do different or tell yourself? Like,
let's pretend now I'm starting from zero. Like Mr. Beast says this as well. And I love it. I love Mr. Beast. Shout out. Like, let's get him on the podcast.
do you watch Beast Games?
I started watching it. Yeah. I think it was up to episode 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So I love the psychology. I love watching Beast Games, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching what he's doing. I'm like, he fascinates me and what he's done.
He's brilliant.
Brilliant.
So I think, you know what it is? He's 25, whoever he is. I think people look at him and think, oh my God, 25. What they don't understand is he's got 13 years in the game.
That's right.
He's not an overnight success.
No, he was doing this every single day for like 3-4 years.
Also,
years.
He was willing to do what we're going to get.
Sabi was there.
He was willing to do what most people weren't, and that is posting videos publicly while he was in high school, which everyone's too ashamed to do. And most people were like, I'm not going to, like, especially in high school, you're like, what do you think of me?
And back 13 years ago, it was not as socially acceptable to be posting, hey guys, this is what I'm doing today.
Yeah, and he was doing like, have you seen, he did a video saying Logan Paul for like, I think he says Logan Paul 10,000 times in a row. Logan Paul, Logan Paul, Logan Paul, Logan Paul.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know how long it is. It's ages. And he just sits there saying Logan Paul over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
And he was like posting that. He was like just trying to do anything
that will get attention.
To get attention. Yeah. He's like, whatever, like, and good, big fan.
Yeah. So going back on what he was saying, on what I was saying with him, he reckons, and he said this openly, he goes, if I started a new YouTube channel today, not using my name, not using my resources, he goes, I'll grow it to 20 million followers in 6 months.
Yeah. That's a big call.
Well, he's cracked the code, right? He knows the game. He knows exactly what he needs to be doing to get the eyeballs, the subscribers, the works. So knowing what you know, can you crack the code now? So if I was to go out and start a new construction company today, what would I do?
No, but yes, they're different questions.
Yeah.
Because you today are not the person who is sitting in the...
Sorry.
So it's like...
So you're saying the experiences,
hey, yo, do this, bro. Like, hey, this is the thing, I would do this at the start. Not, of course, if you now start... Like if you had to be in the position you're in then, but you're this guy now, of course you're going to do way better.
So you just asked me, what am I going to do differently?
Yeah. Like what are you going to tell
myself,
George, that was starting?
Yeah.
Like, hey, don't do this or focus on this or do this thing.
I'd say for me in my business, again, because I'll be specific about construction, I would say one of the best things I implemented into my business was qualifying my clients, because I get a lot of people. I was getting a lot of inquiries coming in, which is like, oh, great. How good's this? And again, anyone with a pulse, I was quoting a job. Like, you want me to quote? Absolutely. I'll quote it. That took me 4, 6 weeks to price a project because I would price it properly. I was told time and time and time again, I was the best tender. They wanted to work with me. They loved me. They loved my company. Like they wanted to work with me, but people also want to buy a Ferrari. Doesn't mean they're going to go in there and buy a Ferrari. They're going to go and buy, whatever they're going to buy. You know, it could be even like a Mercedes or like go get something expensive, but it's still not the Ferrari. It's not a Lambo. They can't go in the dealership and go, I really like your product. I really want to buy it. Can we spend 3 days me test driving the car, you know, me speaking with you, sending emails back and forth, checking my finance, completely knowing that I can't afford it, and then waste your time for 3 days and not buy the car and then go buy a Honda. All right. I would probably go back and say, have a process in place to qualify people and your projects coming through the door, because I wasted too much time on that. I priced up, I figured it out many years ago. I think it was about $23 million worth of work. And I secured, I think 2 of those projects. So maybe 3 mil, let's say, of all those projects I priced. And to me, that strike rate was way too low. And how much time, effort I invested in that. Do you know what I mean? So if we go,
Do you think that's was there any benefit that came from it though? Like,
yeah, look, there was, yes. I did refine the process as well. So there was that aspect, but I already knew how to do that. And you refine in everything you do. You know, repetition obviously makes it second nature. So yes, there were benefits there, but it was also a lot of time that I'd spent, you know, on the grind, doing the tenders, doing the takeoffs, doing everything I needed to do, which probably took me away from focusing on quality clients or quality projects that I could have done, or speaking to people I should have been speaking to. I'd reach out to my power base a bit more, you know, the group of people or individuals that I know could help me on that journey, be it people I once worked with at other companies, be it consultants, architects, engineers, past clients, current clients, sort of trying to feed the funnel in that way. Look at brand after the first couple of years, really start to invest in maybe marketing, ads, branding a bit more. I did early, but not as like, what could I say? What could
you're always gonna.
How do I
always look
tripled? Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that's right.
You know, oh yeah, I wish I did this much earlier.
You're exactly right. If I'd created the type of content today 10 years ago, you'd be calling me Mr. Beast. You know, yeah. You'd be called Mr. George. So
Top G.
This Top G. I'd be the OG, the original.
What was it? Top George.
Top George. The original Top George. Top George. So it's, we haven't said that for a while.
Yes. I almost forgot what it was. I was like, oh, top.
Someone messaged me the other day saying Top George. Started laughing. Yeah. So again, hindsight's a wonderful thing. But if you're in that startup stage at the moment, I think it's important to think big but start small. So I've got this software that I use. It's $15,000 upfront. I didn't buy that day one, but I knew that I was going to buy it eventually. So I used Xero for a little while, and I used Excel spreadsheets, and I used a whole range of things to manage the finances and processing of invoices and financial control in the business, until such time that I'd won enough projects, or I secured a job where I said, cool, I'm going to use some of that money to buy this software, implemented it, and went from there. So I think I implemented it quite early, like, you know, within the first 9 months of opening the business, I bought that software, and I haven't changed since. But in saying that, I think day one, if you don't have the resources and the funds, don't go out and buy the $20,000 software. Don't go out and buy a brand new $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 ute. If you don't need it, build up to it. Do you know what I mean? Go buy a Hilux or a Navara or anything that's $30,000 for the time being, and then build up to those things. You don't need to have the big, shiny new office from day one. Work from home. Go rent a desk at a friend's office.
Did you hear that?
Do you know what I mean?
He said work from home. You got that? It's recorded? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Other people. When it's your own business, it's okay.
Yeah.
Employees will never work from home. Not allowed.
You're on camera.
Yes. I'll say it. That's
play it on repeat.
10 on 9. So, yeah, but I'm saying as a business owner, you can work from home because you're working. It's yours. Yeah, so rent a desk from someone. I did that for a little while when I first started. You know, my ex-boss, actually, I called him up. And I don't know how the conversation actually came up from memory, but I had a chat with him, seeing what he was doing, what he was about. And he's like, oh, look, you guys, if you want, come, he had a huge office in Hawthorne. He goes, mate, grab a desk. We had a really good relationship. We kept it going through, my time that I'd left and been at other companies and whatnot. He goes, mate, you've always have a desk here. Come sit down. I think I paid him whatever it was, $500 a month or something like that, rented it off him and had that desk there, and that was great. And then we did some collaborations together too. So I had some income coming from other streams too. Like I did some consulting for him in the sense of I project managed one of his projects whilst I was doing my own business. So I had a steady income stream that supported myself, and I was able to pay myself a wage whilst building my business too. So I didn't have to then go and have everything on the line, put all those stresses from day one. I had the opportunity to go, you know what, I can swallow my pride for a little bit. I can do what I need to do.
I don't need to make money for 3 months, 5 months.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Which I think is a huge benefit.
Yes, I agree. Too many people come into it and going, cool, we're going to make $3 million this year. And so, no, like, dude, where you start?
I would love to know what the stat is for how many people come into business and make them and turn over 7 figures in the first year.
I think it'd be very rare.
I think it is so rare, and I think it is such a...
the percentage is like only, I think it's 1% of businesses ever make 8 figures, ever.
Yeah, well, it's under.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I know. Iggy, can you...
It's less.
Do you see that?
It is.
What percentage of businesses ever make 8 figures? Small businesses ever make 8 figures in Australia?
1 in every 250.
Is it?
Yeah, so it's like 0.4 or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, Iggy's going to...
Double check, yeah.
Iggy's going to find that out.
Fact check us.
Checker. But yeah, so even that statistic in itself is massive. So for you to get to 7 figures, let alone 8 figures, like it's a big deal.
I do feel like there is a stigma of like, how to get your business to, how to make $1 million in the first thing, how to make, make 6-figure months, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it does 2 things. One, I think it sets, go for gold. All for that.
Yeah.
Look at the fucking sign. Right? But I think it sets the wrong impression, because then you start to think, why haven't I made $1 million?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Must be shit, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And it can kind of deflate you in some way.
Yep. I would also...
The stat is 4% of businesses get to $1 million.
Oh, there you go. Well, Iggy's finding it for us now.
1 million, 7 figures.
7 figures.
Yeah. Not 8. 8's is time.
8's the next one, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously the next one. 8 is after 7.
Last time I checked.
The other thing I would look at as well is understanding that I shouldn't be doing everything. Eventually. At the start, you're wearing every hat.
Yeah.
You're doing it all. You've got to do it all. You got to take out the rubbish. You got to unload the dishwasher. You got to, for those of you that listen to the last episode, a bit of tongue in cheek there. You've got to do absolutely everything: the branding, the marketing, the finance, the processing, the ordering.
Yeah, you're the bookkeeper, you're the receptionist.
Yep.
Pick up the phone.
Again, start small, think big. Eventually go, cool, I need someone. I need someone in this business. I need someone to help me. Okay. What's my first hire? Have it at least a plan or a goal by 6 months, by 12 months. My first hire is this. Hire before you need it as well. So when I say that, I mean like you can afford it, not to the point where you go, fuck, I've got so much work, I need someone to come in and help me. Because at that point, it's chaotic.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're going to employ someone, they're going to come in and put him in that role. And I was literally having this conversation before.
Yeah,
you're going to be a mess. And they're going to be like, this place is fucked. I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm not going to sit here and fix this mess. But if you get them in at the beginning before you're about to get big, they come in, they understand the processes, you teach them, they go, okay, I can control this, I can do this. And then the next job comes in.
Slowly.
That's right. And then the next job comes in. Cool, you're looking after this now. Cool, you're looking after this now. You're looking after this now. And then gradually upskill them, grow, they evolve into that role. You will never, ever, ever, ever grow your business as a solopreneur, as a sole trader. Like you need, when I say ever grow, never grow it significantly enough for you to be like, I'm killing it. You need to have people. You need to have people on some level. Now, in saying that, one of my friends done really, I'm definitely going to get him on the podcast. I'm going to call him, but he's done really well for himself in his business. He employed a whole bunch of people. He literally, last time I saw him about 2 weeks ago, Before that, I'd seen him about a month and a half ago. Before that was last year. And he goes to me, I'm in the process of firing everyone in my business. And he's got a big business, like 8-figure plus business. I go, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, I'm going to get rid of everyone. Everyone. He goes, I found a way to automate certain elements and to change things around. And he goes, I get rid of my warehouse. I get rid of all the employees. I get rid of all those headaches and I can manage it like this. Now, he is a lot busier at the moment. So he's doing he's gone back to doing a lot of the do, but he's probably saved $500,000 in payroll wages and plus the rent of the factory that he had and a whole range of things. So he's actually saved quite a bit of money and he's doing everything now. I said, that's great, but unless you want to be doing that role for the rest of your life, you should still employ someone, even from an admin point of view, that's going to process orders, invoices, whatever it's going to be. You may not have the people on the ground, but you should have people in the office from that perspective. And he will, again. But no big organization has ever grown in any capacity without people.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's become easier to grow with less people.
Yes, that is definitely something that's happened. Yeah. And I look at that too now as well a lot. Like I try to look at the efficiency of the people within the team and going, do I need to employ someone? Yes or no? And it's funny, like my PA has been away for 2 weeks. She's been sick. And those 2 weeks, I've really seen what she's done because I'm now doing it. You know, so I know, okay, that's been good from a perspective of, okay, I still need this person in the business because they do a lot of the tasks that I don't want to be doing and take up too much of my time. So when they're back, I'll be like, don't ever leave me again. Go in, do this job, away you go. Yeah, efficiency is important as well. And you don't need as many people as you think. Some people think, I need 10,000 people to do this. No.
I think, yeah, it depends on the type of business too.
Industry helps.
Massive.
Yeah, in industries like bricks and mortar, literally brick and mortar like me, you need people doing the do.
Yeah. Or like even like restaurants, I think that's one of the highest head counts.
Well, have you seen, I went to I can't remember, some Chinese restaurant and they had those little robots that bring out the food.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's bit of a novelty. It was kind of cool, but I don't think that produced the staff, you know what I mean, that they needed.
Yeah.
I think it was more of the novelty. Oh, machine's bringing me my...
Yeah, it's kind of like it becomes a thing of, let's go there for that. But yeah, I think depending on the industry as well, they tend to a higher head count.
Yeah, for sure. But, you know,
so
AI is in our place now, like where it's helping with that, where you don't have to do as much. You'd notice it in your industry a fair bit, you know?
Yeah, a lot of what we do is...
Did you ever get copywriters in for running out, for doing ad stuff? So, I mean, has a lot of that been replaced by AI now?
Probably more so on the... Because like, here's the thing, AI is not that good where it can fully write something for you.
That's right. And people think, it can do, the perception is that AI is like...
It can do 70%.
Which is massive. Yeah, which is massive.
It's like now it becomes a thing around, okay, cool, like this is the process, like we want to create ad copy. Say this, say that, say that, say that. Like, you know what I mean? And there's a process around prompting and then it gets refined. You know what I mean? So it's like, do this, it'll give us the base and then let's build off that. You know what I mean? Or sometimes like you'll write it and then you'll do that and then you'll take snippets of it. Definitely helps. That doesn't do the full job. But there's certain aspects of the role that like when we onboard a client now, when I first started, we used to have to send them an email and sign them up to this and ask them to do that. And now it's like, cool, that person sent them the proposal, they signed, don't do anything. Everything happens like clockwork.
Yeah.
Boom, that feeds into this feeds into that. This knows what they signed up for, hits something on the CRM automations go off. And
how good is that?
Yeah, and it's like, we have to build it. But like,
that's right.
But now that's like, that could take me, getting someone onboarded could take me 2 hours. Now it happens automatically. And doing.
That's right. Massive.
Yeah.
Massive. Yeah. And we should register people for events. You know, you'd have to write their name down. You know,
it was just
like put it in an Excel spreadsheet. Like today, I registered someone for an event.
There's actually not a lot of data on companies that turn over 1 million the first year.
No, sorry, not in the first year, in total.
I was in total?
No, it's not. 4% is not.
Yeah, it's just ever.
4% ever. So ask the question of how many businesses do like hit $1 million plus in Australia?
Oh yeah, so that is, where is it? I actually got it. That's 34.6%. That's around from
That's no way.
200,000 to 2 million.
2 million.
No. The question is, so you're trying to tell me 1 in every 3 businesses that start hits $1 million? That's no, you're reading the wrong thing. I'm 100%. 100%.
Yeah, $1 million in turnover is a lot.
Well, 90% of the business are lower than 2 million.
90%.
Yeah. So 1 million is probably a fraction.
Yeah, we'll find it.
Yeah, there's a few different ones, but it's definitely not. It's a single figure.
Yeah, because it's too wide. It's like 200,000 to 2 million.
So
It's
in
34.
Australia,
Yeah.
it's 8%.
Of businesses.
Yeah. So
Will
here,
make
so
$1
if
million.
you want to beat 91% of businesses and scale to $1 million, this is how you do it.
Hmm.
Yeah, most businesses don't
Yeah, I can understand that too.
hit.
Like say a cafe, it's going to be, you have to sell a lot of coffees, make $1 million a year.
A lot of coffees. A lot of good coffees.
Yeah.
So they're
So-
not getting returned.
Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, I'd say be mindful of your purchases day one. You know, you don't need to go out and invest in heaps of things, equipment, tools.
So what would you
software.
do? What would you do differently?
From,
Because you still haven't answered that question. So you'd qualify people faster?
Yep.
Is that the first thing you do?
I think so, because it was very time consuming for me to process that, to do the tenders and whatnot. So that's one of the first things. The other thing I would do differently, I would seek a mentor sooner. Okay. I actually grew and didn't know what the fuck to do. You know, and I came into the growing pains of making more money, turning over more revenue, making less money.
Mm.
I got into that situation and I was like, no, something's got to change. And that's when I sought out a mentor for the first time and then also started educating. I know something else I would do. I'd read a lot more. I'd learn. I was arrogant when I was working for someone. I was like, I don't need to I finished uni. I was like, fuck that. I don't need to self-educate anymore. I'm just going to become the best builder. Not realizing that me self-educating made me a better builder. So I would have read a lot more on specific books about business, personal growth, all that sort of stuff. For those of you that have partners when you're starting a business, or young families when you're starting a business, that was one of the most difficult things that I went through, was having a young family, or having literally just being married, and also, a year and a half later, 2 years later, having a kid and running a new business. That was very difficult for me. And not knowing how to, I don't like the word balance, but how to prioritize that. I would definitely do that a lot different.
What would you do differently?
I would make sure that my wife had buy-in the sense of, this is what I'm doing, this is how I need to do it. What I'd communicate with her is like, what do you need help on? What can I do to help? What things need to be done? We had the mindset of, no, I need to work, I need to get sleep, I need to do, get up early to provide. And she was going to be stay-at-home mum, that sort of a role. And it definitely worked and it was great. However, it was too black and white for us at the time. It was like, no, you do this, I do that. There was never a blend. Well, not there was never a blend. There wasn't enough of a blend. There should have been times where, cool, I'm not going to work tomorrow. I'm just going to stay home, give you a break and work out and do whatever. And then it could have been the other way around. Hey, I've got to work Saturday. Stuff like that will come up too. Can you go to your mum's and chill out there for the day? She can help you with the kid, whatever. So the really open and transparent conversation about like how we're going to operate and how work's going to happen, the family environment, that sort of stuff. I think I would have done a bit earlier too. That was definitely challenging looking back. Because if I was to have another kid today, completely different. Obviously, I'm in a much different space, much more experienced and able to set things up, and processes are in place so to enable me to do that sort of stuff. But starting a new business and having a young family at the same time, a very difficult thing to manage, because, I was at that time as well, I wasn't working close to home. When I say not, I was a 15-minute drive in the morning. My office was in Camberwell. And at night, when I left, it was 45 to an hour and 15, depending on traffic, depending on weather. Right. So I often wouldn't get home till 6:30, 7 o'clock. And it's like, fuck, you spend half an hour with the missus and the kid before they go to bed. and then you're wrecked, and you just, rinse and repeat. So that would be something I would definitely change up to, having more of a blend, not a balance, but a blend of the two. Also, in the same token, I know this might contradict a little bit, it's also your opportunity to work like an animal as well. Because your kids ask your kid, or I'll ask you, what do you remember from anything before 5 years old?
Me?
Yeah. Fuck all.
What's your earliest memory?
Oh, man, I don't know. I remember going to Queensland, driving up to Queensland with my parents.
But like, what's it? No, like a distinct, specific.
Specific? I'm about to tell you.
Yeah.
That's it. So we were driving to Queensland with my parents in a car. It was just myself. I was the only kid at the time. And we were driving up with some family, my dad's uncle and his family. And I remember my uncle overtaking my dad in the car. He had a Volvo, and they passed a box of shapes between the cars. So my dad reached out as he was driving, out, gave him a box of shapes. They reached out and grabbed it. I saw on the freeway like this. I remember that. That's probably I would have been 2, maybe 3 years old. Probably 3 years old, somewhere there.
You remember it?
And I remember that. And I also remember remember being in the lift with my cousin, and he was much older than me. Like, again, I was probably 3 years old. He was probably 15. And I remember being in the lift saying, "Give me 5." And I remember jumping in the pool. That's probably what that little holiday.
Same
that
trip.
was, yeah.
Okay.
That's probably my earliest memory.
Do you remember getting in the car for that trip?
No.
Do you remember getting into that lift? What you done before it?
No.
Can you remember anything touched before it?
Nothing.
There's a lot of things that you think you remember, but you don't.
No. And I was thinking that the other day, because it's like, go back to a holiday. Like, okay, I went to Greece in 06, or I went to Dubai in 06. What did I eat on the plane? I can't tell you what I ate. Can't tell you if it was good, if it was chicken or the beef. I can't remember what I drank. Do you know what I mean? I can't remember. It's like it never happened, those things.
Well, it's just,
I went to a club in Mykonos. I can't remember the first song that played when I walked into the club. Do you know what I mean? Can't remember what drink I ordered. Can't remember. Like, there's obviously you remember things about the trip and it was great and all that, but the details become a blur.
Yeah. Well, there's a thing around it. Memory is only retained when there's emotion or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway, I asked that because I went to a thing once and they said, "What's your earliest memory?" Think back to that. And then you're there and you got your eyes closed and you think back to that earliest memory. And then they're like, "All right, now go back to just before it." And then you're like, "Wait, what?" Like, and then you know what I mean? It's almost like you remember what happened just before it. And then it's like, how could I pull that out of my brain? Like, it's a cool experience. But yeah, back to your thing.
So I think it's also an opportunity for you to work really hard too when your kids are young as well. But again, you need to have that conversation with your partner, because if you don't, they'll end up resenting you for working so much. And you'll end up resenting them for not supporting you whilst you're working. "Oh, I'm fucking slaving away whilst you're having a holiday at home, chilling out. Oh, I wish I could look after the kid and not work and deal with this stress." Do you know what I mean? So it can build resentment between the couple. That's why really clear communication during that time is important.
Anything else that you would?
Anything else is, again, we said documenting the process more so with your branding and your marketing. What else was there that I would go back and tell myself to change? Yeah, don't be afraid to invest in the business as well. Not that I was, but just like go for it. Don't be afraid, because I remember my first hire. I actually started with, it was me, my old man, and an apprentice. So I had really 3 mouths to feed at that time. But my first office hire, I put them on as an intern first, so I didn't have to pay them, which is okay. That's good. That's smart as well. So I put them on as an intern, and they actually turned out, and they're still working for me today. So shout out to Simon. But he came on, he called me up and said, hey, I just want some work experience. I said, yeah, cool, come. I can't afford to pay you yet, but if you want some work experience, I'm happy to. I traded my knowledge for as his currency for the time being. And he did that, and I'm like, you know what? I'll come on part-time. So he came and worked for me 2 days a week. I was like, oh, cool. So I was working a couple of days a week, and then we won this big job, and I said, fuck it, come on full-time. He's like, yeah, 100%. So then full-time, and then he's been with me ever since. But if you can do that too, do that. See of ways that you can get some wins across the board. Even overseas now, VAs are a massive thing now. They never used to be back when I first started, but now, like, why not utilize a VA that you can get to do some work that you're paying a quarter of the price of what you will locally, and probably help you along the way too. That could be an option for you.
Yeah.
So just be smarter. At the very beginning, just be smart about how you're controlling your finances.
To say that.
Yeah, I know. But I'm giving advice now to people listening. Like, you don't have to go out. Like, especially when you make a bit of money as well. You might get that one job. Oh, fuck. Where did that $50,000 come from? Oh, I better go. How do I spend it?
Yeah.
No, don't.
Neutrals there.
That's right. That's right. You don't need to go out and spend the money straight away. Be smart about where you're investing it at the beginning, because there'll be a time. What if the next 3 months are really quiet, and then what? Oh, you've just spent that money on that brand new boat or jet ski or tools or a computer, or the office, invested in the office when you're really not ready for it. Be wise about the decisions you're making, because it will affect your future and how quickly you get to your goals and where you want to get to. And then bringing in the right people eventually. Without a doubt, bringing in the right people. I think I've been quite lucky over the course of my business to have some good people there. There's been bad eggs. When I say bad eggs, the wrong eggs, not the ones for me. Not bad people, not overly bad employees, just not the right suit for us. They've come, they've gone. Some of them resigned, some of them are fired. But that's a lesson you'll learn along the way too. Finding who your people are.
Yeah, I think that's something you learn as you go.
And understand it's always temporary. Every single one of your employees will be temporary. They're temporary custodians of that role in your business.
Yeah, maybe 3 months, 3 years, 30 years.
30 years. One day they won't be there.
Yeah.
Either you won't be there, the business won't be there, or they won't be there. People move on, people make changes, and that's something that could happen. And as loyal as you think someone might be, and they might love it, like if one of my employees said to me the other day, he goes, I've been headhunted, someone's offered me this much money. I said, look, if ever it happens, just come to me, right? I will give you my honest opinion. I will tell you, hey, I think you should take this role. I'm not going to be, don't leave me. How could you do this to me? I'm not going to be all shitty and upset. So you've got to look out for yourself. If I think it's a good decision for you to go, I'll say, look, you'll have my blessing. Just do the right thing. Give me 4 weeks. You've been here for so long. Don't just walk out tomorrow, because if you do, then I'll be shitty. But if you do the right thing by me, as you always have, no harm, no foul. You're welcome back. If there's an opportunity for you to come back in the future, you're welcome back. I wouldn't burn the bridge. But, and I'm sure there's roles like that out there where someone's offering $300,000. Now, I'm not going to pay someone $300,000 for a particular role. It may not be suitable for our business and what it's like, and it's just not in the realm of what we do. But if they were going to a big tier 1 construction company and they were offering that sort of money, I'd say, look, yeah, this is a good offer financially. Yeah, absolutely. But it also comes with this. This is the consequence of it. You'll probably be working Saturdays, Sundays. You're probably working 6 to 6. Like, as long as you're willing to give that aspect, then yeah, go for it. Great opportunity for you. I know the people there. Speak to this person, tell him you know me, he'll look after you. I would encourage it. I'm happy for someone to come in here as long as they've put in during their time at the business. I'd be more than happy for them to come and go as they need to. And just learn how to handle stressful situations. That'll come up too. Okay, let's go another step. Never treat a client. I don't like treating clients like friends. Okay, you can be friendly, but they're not your friend. they're your clients. There's a professional relationship there that you need to maintain. I think I learned that early on as well. I try to become buddy with my friends, and it's like, oh, here's a variation. Oh, what? We're friends. Oh, I'll pay your bill. Oh, I'm going to be a week late. Is that okay? Oh, yeah, I can fund your project. You know? So having a lot more strict procedures on payment terms and all that sort of stuff with my clients, making sure that they understand the boundaries and their obligations to me. That was a really big thing that I learned the hard way too. You know?
Yeah. That you feel like those lessons are only learnt through experience?
Yeah, I think so. And I try and
It's like you can go and tell someone. It's like, you ever have someone that you know and you know they are doing the wrong thing and you know that they know that what they're doing is not right, and you can tell them and they'll say, I know, but they'll do it anyway. And it's like, sometimes you just need to
you just got to get burnt.
Yeah. Let them get burnt. Like, touch the hot stove. Yeah, cool. Do you know now you shouldn't touch it? Okay, cool. Don't touch it again.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean?
Without a doubt. And that's something I teach that at my trainings as well, about the client management and setting those boundaries in place so they understand and know what their obligations are. But again, until people go through it, they don't know. They need to be burnt a couple of times, not get paid for something, and that's when they feel it.
Yeah. Anything else that you'd add to that?
Look, not off the top of my head. I think they were the main ones. What about yourself?
I would go and work for someone for 6 months, like an entrepreneur, a business person, someone who's going to teach me the stuff that I've had to learn. I feel like I've paid a lot of ignorance debt. Do you know what I mean? Ignorance, not stupidity.
Yeah.
Ignorance.
Yeah, you just don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, it's a lack of knowledge. And I feel like there's been a lot of things that people don't teach. No one teaches it. There's no, I don't know. I say that. I haven't gone and done a business degree in uni. Most of the people I know that do well in business haven't done a business degree.
Yeah, exactly.
So the things that you don't know, you know, in the sense of like knowing your numbers, like you should know that early on. You know, knowing what you're aiming for a gross profit. How do you price stuff? What's the overall, like, what's your USP? Why understanding those aspects that no one shows you, you know, how to read financial reports, how to cash flow statements, you know what I mean? How to do cash flow projections. Like, who shows you that? You learn on the job, and then you look back and you think, oh my God. And I'm always proud when I do look back and think, wow, I didn't know back then, because it means you learned new stuff in the last 6 months, 12 months, whatever it might be. But I do feel like a lot of that time, I feel like I could have moved a lot faster had I known the things that I know now. Obviously, yes, that you would move faster, but I just feel like I've learned it through a process of trial and error. I would try and not do that. I would try and say, okay, cool. Like, how can I go and shadow someone for 3 months, 6 months? How can I go do like a 2-year, you know, let me go be your right-hand man for a business owner and actually learn the key fundamentals of business, why they do this, why they do that, how do you structure how do you recruit? You know what I mean? Like recruitment, dude. The first time I went into recruit, I was like asking the questions that I'd been asked at interviews.
That's right.
Because I was like, I don't know what to ask you. Like,
what do I actually want?
Yeah. And it's like, now we have a whole process around recruiting. And it's like, go and learn that stuff. I think if you're willing to bite the bullet and not make money at the start and go learn. I think
people are too impatient.
Yeah. And I think I was too. Like, it was all about, you know, I don't know, I just got to do it. Like,
and also, you get some of the wins. Okay, this is something that happened to me as well. I got a little bit arrogant. Because I got the wins on the board. I was like, oh, look at me, how good am I? I started to believe the hype. I'm getting, I'm winning all these projects, making all this money. And then it wasn't until I wasn't that I realized that I wasn't as good as I thought I was. And that's when I started to self-educate and seek a mentor, seek people to help me out. So don't, you know, you got to, what is it? Eat humble pie or something like that. But just
eat humble pie?
Something like that.
Is it?
I think it's how the saying goes. But yeah, just don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah, and I think that would be the one thing. Like if I could go back now and I would spend that time, the business time. Because like you learn a skill. This is how everyone starts in business, right? You learn a skill and then you get good at the skill and then you're like, cool, my job is to go do the skill. Do you know what I mean? That's your mentality. Oh, I'm a builder. I need to go build houses.
That's right.
And it's like, that's what a builder does, not a business owner.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean? And I would go back and say, okay, cool. Dude, you know, a big turning point for me was I felt like I always needed to be on top of ads. I was like, I need to read the latest and blah, blah, blah. And like, you know, I need to know all the changes Meta's making, Facebook's making, because I need to be on top of it and I need to be able to run ads better than anyone. And I need to, and I, until I was like, you know what? I don't. I need to understand the overall process. I need to understand it really well, but I need to have my Facebook guy be the best guy. Like I need to find the best Facebook guy. That's how I build my business. I don't need to be the best chippy. I've got to find good chippies. I don't need to be the best tiler. I need to find good tile. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't need to be the best copywriter. I need to be able to source good copywriters. Yeah. Are you a business person or do you have a skill that people are going to use you for?
That's right.
You know what I mean? Are you building an organization or are you offering a single service? You know, and change your mindset from I do this to I'm building a company that does this.
Correct.
And that was like a massive, you know what I mean?
Yeah, without a doubt. That was one of the things for sure for me. But I just said I learned that through the process.
Yeah, me too. And I just kept like, and then it's like, I wish someone sat me down and said, okay, cool. Like, you know, month 1, fundamentals. Month 2, you know, even like, dude, I tell people, business owners, like you should understand marketing. You shouldn't understand it as well as I do, but you should, like, you know what I mean? You should be able to know, like, yes, hey, my SEO is working. Hey, my ads are working. You know what I mean? That's like, at least that, you know what I mean? We have a marketing budget. We allocate this much to it. Most people don't do that.
That's right.
I think teaching marketing, teaching fucking financials, man, like financial excellence, like understanding, being able to look at the business and say, hey, we are on track to have our best year.
Yeah.
How many people you can know that they're on track to have their best year?
Man.
Most people don't. They'll be like, I've got no idea. How much did you do last year? No idea.
We get there.
Yeah. Is there money in the account? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, that was a big learning experience for me. I remember when we completed the first financial year and then my accountant sent me like the annual statements and he's like, you know, congratulations, you profited X. And I'm like, where the fuck's the money? Where is it? Do you have it?
Yeah.
It's like, because I don't have it. Like, where the fuck's the money?
Government give it to me.
And then he's like, oh no, it doesn't work like that. And I'm like, well, how the fuck? Like,
where's all this money?
yeah, you're telling me we've made X. Where is it? Do you know what I mean? I
Didn't take it out.
I thought he had it. I was fucking pumped. I was like, no, you're going to give me that much now? Like, this is sick. Anyway, I learned that the hard way. But yeah, I would. Hormozy says it best. He says, try and spend your first 12 months paying down your ignorance debt as much as you can.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, try and spend your first 12 months. Don't worry about you don't worry about making $1. Just pay down your ignorance debt as much as you can because you're gonna make those mistakes and you're gonna go on, you know what I mean? And yeah, I guess there is so many moving parts. It is so complex that there's no one that can teach you everything and gear you up to the point where it's like, hey, I've taught, because if we tried to teach you every single step before you needed it, you'd probably have to do a 5-year degree that becomes irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I would, just fundamentals, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And, you know, also keep an eye on the people that you have around you, like your consultants. So say you got a broker or accountant or whoever it might be. They may be the right person for you when you first start. They may not be the right person for you by year 3, 4, 5.
100%.
You may outgrow them, or you might realize the advice they're giving you isn't the best. So don't be afraid to change who's in your circle. You know, you're going to need to do that across the career of your business.
Yeah, you should level up your partners. What do you call them?
Yeah. just associates and business partners.
People that you're working with over time, because most of them won't grow at the same pace.
Yeah, correct.
Do you know what I mean? And then it's like, cool, you got us. What got you here won't get you there.
That's right. That's right. One other thing I would do, especially, I would recommend this to all business owners at any moment of their career, whether they're just starting out or particularly when they're starting out, but even halfway through or towards the end. And that would be to subscribe to this podcast.
I think that is
probably the most influential thing they could do. You know,
do you ever wish we started this podcast earlier?
No, I think we started it at the right time. You know, I reckon earlier, earlier maybe we wouldn't have had as much of the experience and insight that we've got today. You know, we've been through a lot before we even started this podcast. Like,
but also you could also look back then and say, like, we have way more experience now than we did then. Like, if you, I don't know,
I just feel that we started this at the right time. I was wanting to start a podcast years ago by myself. I was going to be literally me talking to a mic, talking about something for, I don't know, half an hour.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. And then I messaged you.
I think it's pretty hard. I think it would be pretty hard.
You reckon?
Consistently. Yeah.
You just need to find what to talk about.
That's right. There'd be a little bit more research. Or is this, in this instance, you're bouncing off each other, which is good. So, yeah, I'm happy with when this podcast came to fruition.
Yeah.
Personally.
I'm not happy about, though, how many people haven't subscribed.
Yeah, because a lot of people listen. We get a lot of listeners we get a lot of downloads every single month. But then you look at that and convert it to the subscribers, and we're like, did they not see the red button? I get it's hard not to see a red button.
Maybe it's
when
not
you're
red.
listening. Maybe it's not red. So you've been telling me all these years they told me it was a red button and it's not.
It's YouTube. Do you reckon people hear this part and know, like, the episode must be coming to an end?
No, not always, because we do it in the middle sometimes too.
You don't know what we're going to throw at you.
Yeah, I'll throw it out. I might throw it out at the start. And you're like, oh shit, it's a bit different.
Yeah. But if you were subscribed, it wouldn't matter.
Exactly. You'd get the notifications. You'd know everything anyway. You go, well, this part's not just for me. I see what the boys are doing now.
And you wouldn't miss a single episode.
It'd be completely up to date.
Just like we haven't missed a single week.
That's right. Still going strong. And we're going away in a few weeks' time as well. Got a couple of trips. Got an interstate trip and then an overseas trip. And these podcasts will keep rolling on. How sick would it be to do a podcast in Vegas? We should see if we can do it. Maybe we can get a studio whilst we're there.
Definitely could.
Yeah. That'd be cool. Do one overseas. Maybe get a special guest on. Maybe we meet someone that we can get on the cast at one of these events. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe we get Alex. Get Alex on it. Or maybe the question I'll ask him. Say, hey, jump on the cast.
It'd be tough.
It would be very tough. But if you don't ask,
you don't know.
You never know. Ask the questions, guys. Don't ever be afraid. Don't ever be afraid to ask the question you don't know the answer to. Like, don't be afraid to look stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's going to be things you don't know. All right? I always say this to all my staff, like, or employees. I go, guys, if you don't understand something, like, ask, don't be afraid.
And also,
contractor.
I'd rather look stupid than be stupid.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather someone say, oh, you didn't know that. Yeah. And now I know, than sit here and have them think I know and not know.
Okay. When I first started, I didn't know the difference between gross and net profit. So I didn't know. I just didn't know. It's like I had to Google it.
It's like, how would you know?
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't understand the concept behind it. I was like, I don't get it. Like, how do I explain? How do I get this? And there's like,
people need to understand ignorance is not stupidity.
Yeah.
Like, if you haven't been shown something,
like, how are you to know?
How are you to know? But if you have been shown and you can't work it out, then that's not, it's intelligence. That's the problem. But
or it just hasn't been explained to you properly and you just need another way of learning it. Like, maybe you didn't, that way it was explained, it was probably didn't suit you.
Yeah. But if you've never been shown something, there is zero shame in saying, I've never been shown this. Has it ever happened to you? And everyone's like, you don't know this. And then you're like,
not really. I've asked, like, even now I've asked the question. Like, I'll go on site.
No, like, in the sense of, like, people are always like, how do you not know that? Like, everyone knows that. And you're like, I've never even heard it. I'm just trying to think. I feel like it happened very recently.
As it comes with age, with age, you care less about that. Like, if someone says, oh, you don't know. So, no, I don't fucking know. Whereas when you're younger, it's like you feel that people judge you more, It's like you'd be more scared of saying, "Oh, I don't actually understand why you do that."
Yeah.
Oh, how do you not?
Insecurities. I guess.
It is. Yeah, it is. It is. Excellent. All right. Thank you so much once again, guys, for tuning in. Hope you got a little bit out of today, or a lot out of today's episode. I think it was important for, I mean, you're taking real life experience from us. So if you're in that startup stage, start to consider some of these things. Look at them and go out there and do a bit more research. Don't be afraid to eat humble pie, as we said. And I think you'll go a really long way. If you can learn from people like myself, like Robby and other entrepreneurs, other business owners, jump on YouTube, read a book, whatever you can do to improve your operations, it'll definitely help you in the long run.
Definitely.
That's awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much. Tune in next week. Cannot wait to see you.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Bye, everyone.